I'll round up our survivors and fall back to the dawn. Arbiter will do the same with the elites. Cortana's in there somewhere.
Hello everybody and welcome to the 8th mission of my Halo 3 Legendary Walkthrough Guide. Today we'll be doing the mission Cortana. Now this mission will be very quick, so we're just going to get right on into it. Now, taking out a few of those flood infection forms, you're going to want to go up this right hallway because we're going to be taking the upper level to go grab the energy sword and this carbine that you just saw me pick up right here. Now pick up the carbine and the energy sword. You should be getting here right when this the infection form turns that brute into a combat form, and then you're just going to keep going through these wall sphincters until we reach the very first area. Now this mission has a lot of banter between you and the Gravemind and Cortana, you and Cortana. There's a lot of it, so you're just going to have to get through it, but it really isn't that bad because that's going to allow you to be again untargetable by the flood during this entire mission. Alright, moving on past, we want to be as quick as possible. We want to avoid those stalker forms as well as the combat forms that just came in behind us. Going the long way around, using that little bend there for cover. We're going to jump right on up. We're going to toss this deployable cover here to block the flood, and then we're going to toss a grenade as soon as we start to see any of them and start to just clear them out. Now we're just going to keep moving, getting into cover if they are shooting at you. We're just going to bypass these carrier forms. That carrier form just kind of like did a full vertical jump just on past us. But moving on, pretty much that very first area you can pretty safely skip. A lot of this mission is just kind of bypassing fights or using the fights to your advantage, as well as any type of equipment to your advantage as well. There's a lot of really cool stuff in this mission, a lot of cool little lore bits from Cortana, lots of cool little things from the Gravemind. To me, it's actually a really good, as somebody who's a fan of the lore, this mission is very, it's a very fun, interesting mission that kind of puts a little bit more depth into the Halo universe. But moving on back into the mission, we're going to be taking this right path here. This will allow you to get some more ammo for your carbine, as well as pick up some sticky grenades, the plasma grenade and the spike grenade. There's a lot of swords here, so if you need to grab those, feel free. But I like to sit here and get the last one we get when we jump on down into this little, kind of like a... I don't know what to kind of qualify. It's almost like a courtyard area. You guys saw me hit that sticky on that tank form, but just as their name implies, they are a tank. Using our spike grenade here to try to take out that ranged form, and then we're going to just keep on moving past as we kind of just miss that stalker form, but that stalker form was also changing, so it doesn't really matter. Trying to get through these carrier forms before they explode, and then right up here is where we're going to start to deal with a lot of stalker forms changing into either a ranged form or a tank form. We're going to toss grenades here to take out that ranged form. The ranged forms are more of a threat than those tank forms, so make sure that you prioritize them whenever you see them. Now trying to bypass this ranged form, this is where you're going to want to pop that cloaking to get through those combat forms that we're charging on past pretty much as soon as we got up there to take out that ranged form. Now the very last, pretty much one of the last areas until we reach the kind of like the main area. I would say like where the reactor room is. I think that's what they call it. You're going to be dealing with quite a few combat forms. This is where we're going to be using our carbine mostly at. You're going to take out these combat forms, as many as possible, before you start to go out there, because again, you use your cloaking to get on past. There is a way to get another cloaking if you didn't get that. If you went back through that corridor that we just went past, and you didn't get the dialogue from the Gravemind. But for the sake of this, we're just going to keep on going on through. There is a cloaking right up here. You just need to get through, taking out these stalker forms as well as that combat form. There's another, as you saw there, just picked up that cloaking. And we're just going to keep on moving through, taking out these stalker forms as they show up. And again, there's quite a few range forms, so you just want to try to keep on moving. If you get a little too much heat, make sure you fall back and get into cover. This is where you're going to pop that second cloaking device right here, trying to just move on through and get through this next wall sphincter. And there we go. We're almost to the reactor room. Just got a little bit more banter from the Gravemind. And of course, Cortana.
I have walked the edge of the abyss. I have seen your future, and I have learned.
Lots of cool little stuff with the Gravemind and some banter, of course. I'll be honest, like having to get slowed down when this could have just been like, I don't know, some like talk going on in the background, rather than it really affecting your character. But it's whatever. Now, there's going to be quite a few enemies when you get into this area. A lot of range forms, a lot of combat forms. But you have an energy sword. Energy sword is super overpowered against the Flood. But pretty much just using your sword should be enough to take out the Flood. Except for that one combat form, which took almost 4 or 5 sword hits to take out. Now, trying to see if we can get a Kobe nade on that range form over there, but unfortunately missed that one. Almost ended my run right there because I tossed the grenade in a really bad spot, but luckily enough I was able to land one of those incendiary grenades to take out that range form. Now these stalker forms just completely were oblivious to the fact that I just threw a incendiary grenade at them, so they kind of just let me walk on past. The Flood are really weird in this mission. They're either hyper aggressive, not aggressive enough, or like this weird mixture of the two. So just like kind of play off of that whenever you notice it. If you see them being a little passive, just kind of walk on past. Of course, I would recommend being as aggressive as you possibly can while being safe. But the Flood in this are so weird, they're so bipolar, that it's almost kind of like you have to play off of which one you get whenever you load up the mission. But this is the final little bit before we reach Cortana. Once we get Cortana, it's pretty much just going to be the exact same thing that we did on the way in. We're just going to be doing that exact same thing on the way out. So there's a cutscene coming up, so I'm going to be quiet, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
You found me. But so much of me is wrong. Out of place. You might be too late.
You know me. When I make a promise.
You keep it. I do know how to pick 'em.
Lucky me. Do you still have it?
The activation index from the first Halo ring. A little souvenir I hung on to, just in case. Got an escape plan?
Thought I'd try shooting my way out. Mix things up a little.
Just keep your head down. There's 2 of us in here now, remember?
Alright guys, now that we've retrieved Cortana and had that awesome callback back to Halo 1, we get to go and fight our way out of High Charity. Our goal here is to get out of the reactor room as fast as possible and kind of avoid fighting while also kind of fighting our way out. I know that's kind of weird, but really the goal here is to kind of just kill enough of the Flood to make it towards you can get out safely. You don't need to kill all of them. You do not have to do a full genocidal wipe of the Flood to be safe. All you need to do is kill a certain amount of them, and then you'll be completely fine. And just as I said at the beginning of this mission, it's really just about utilizing your equipment correctly to be able to fight in an aggressive way, while also being safe at the same time. Now, using the bubble shield here, we're going to be taking out these range forms. We got the one on the sticky, and then we also were able to take out the one closest to us. And now we're going to be playing off of our range here. We're going to be using these incendiary grenades to take out the ranged forms from afar. We got a nice little double kill because the combat forms decided to stand inside of fire. You can say that they're very not smart, but unfortunately for us, as you just saw there, we can't use our carbine against the pure forms. We are gonna have to use our sword, and that requires us to get a little up close and personal to take them out. Throwing down that deployable cover to use it as cover for when we go back and go grab that brute shot. And we're going to use that deployable cover to be able to essentially use as protection while we take out these reactors here. Now we got one more stalker form right here. We're going to take him out. Going to grab this brute shot and then take out each one. Each one just requires one brute shot, and then we're going to pick up the carbine, and pretty much we're just going to get out of here. Gonna grab another cloaking from when we get through the corridor that we went through to get to this point, and then pretty much we're going to try to save that for as long as we possibly can. We do not want to use that willy-nilly. We want to make sure that we save it for when we really need it. Now, trying to take out these range forms, but the pure forms just really are immune to shots from the carbine, so just make sure that you kind of have to use your sword here and just walk up on them. Make sure that you try to take out the threats that are closest to you rather than the ones that are far away, and make sure you try to back up whenever you get a little too close to like another flood combat form. Now right here, we're trying to get out of here as fast as possible, but also trying not to use our cloak. So let's see if we can make it through without using our cloak in this area. If you get to this point where your shields are down, I would recommend immediately using your cloaking to get out of those situations. Yes, it's going to make this next part a little bit harder, but ultimately it's the same exact thing that we did in the reactor room. All we have to do is use our carbine to take out the flood combat forms, and then we get to use our sword to mop up the rest of the other combat forms. Now, taking out that brute combat form, we're going to be heading up here, taking this left, and we're just going to be trying to take out as many of these combat forms as possible with our carbine. Unfortunately, I was running out of ammo, and these combat forms just bum rushed me. So I just decided, you know what? It's now or never. Let's get out of here. And I almost died by that tank form smacking that plate of High Charity into me. So it was really close. It was a really close call. I recommend just trying to get through it as cleanly as you possibly can. And sometimes that does require you to wait a little bit and then move on, or kill a good amount of them before you move on. Now, before you hop on down, you are going to want to sit up here, wait for those flood combat forms to either retreat or until you are able to get a few shots off on them. Whatever one works out for you, it's really just making sure that you're able to move up safely. Now, there's going to be a flood combat form over there with the battle rifle. You want to make sure you take him out. And then there's going to be those two elite combat forms that we were taking out earlier. But now we're able to get up close and personal. Trying to sidestep this carrier form and then another carrier form. We're trying to pick up this battle rifle here as well before we move on, because we always want to make sure that we have a ranged weapon with us whenever we fight the flood, especially a precision weapon. But we're right about to where we were in the at the very beginning of this mission, right pretty much in that area where that pelican is. We have the Arbiter here now, so we're going to use him to our advantage. He's going to basically distract all these flood forms, and we're just going to beeline it right to the pelican. If you can make it to the pelican, that is Cortana. That is the entire mission. So as soon as you get through, we're just going to hit right on top of the pelican, and that is it. That is Cortana on legendary difficulty with no deaths. If you guys found this video helpful, please leave a like down below. If you have any questions, of course, leave a comment down below, and I will always get to you guys. And as usual, please consider subscribing. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time for the last mission of this guide, Halo. Thank you guys for watching.